Attention WFIA members, the virtual 2024 WFI convention will be this fall from September 13th through September 15th, 2024. Scheduled to appear are the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, the world's most dangerous announcer, Gary Michael Capetta, Bill Apter, and just recently signed the High Flyers, Jumpin', Jim Brunzell, and Greg Gagne. And folks, there's more coming on board. So run, don't walk to your keyboard. Get on that computer. Check the WFIA.org website and our Facebook page to see when these guys are going to be scheduled and their prices. Folks, if you are not a WFIA member, you will be paying an additional fee. So go to the WFIA.org today and register, become a member, and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome everybody to Pro Wrestling Wire Radio here on ProWrestlingWire.com. This is Rick Del Santo, of course, Uncle Otis, Eric Smith, joining me as always. We are joined today by one of the bright upcoming young stars in New England, Sylvan. What's going on?
Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Fantastic.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good. It's a nice sunny day outside. Little breeze out here. Looking good.
Yes, sir. Let's talk a little bit about your wrestling career. We can talk about what you have coming up, a little bit about your history. So I usually like to start off with, how did you get interested in the world of professional wrestling or professional wrestling as a whole?
Yes, sir. Living out that childhood dream like most of us did, watching on television. We all have the stars that we looked up to. And something I always wanted to do, always been into athletics and things like that. Did some time serving the country in that. Didn't have the opportunity until we moved to Connecticut, and I found Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling under the tutelage of Mr. Paul Roma, Mr. Mario Mancini out there in East Haven. And from there it took off. I started training down in Florida, but that was only for maybe a couple months. And then moved up here and got settled. And I said, I need to find a wrestling school. Not want, but need. So
where did you train in Florida?
It was down at DCCW.
Okay.
Smaller company. Mr. Steve Pender down there. But
okay.
Yeah.
Did you come up here because of personal reasons or because you wanted to expand into a different territory, or?
I ended my service and ended up asking the wife, hey, after all this time, we actually get to choose more of where we get to live. Mm-hmm. So where do you want to go? And she said, well, we'll go back home to Connecticut. This is where she's from originally. She has family here and stuff like that. So I said, okay, so make the boss lady happy.
Where did you grow up initially?
So I was born in Pennsylvania, moved down to Florida when I was 7 years old, and then ended up joining when I was 20.
Okay. Talk about a little bit about your military history.
Yes, sir. I was in the Navy, 14 years worth, did my time there. So we bounced around a little bit, did some cross-country travel from Connecticut to Washington State, down to Georgia, or back to Connecticut, then down to Georgia. Wow. So very interesting. It was submarine service, so very unique.
Were you ever stationed overseas at all, or did you?
No, sir.
No.
Didn't get the chance to do that. Although it was very good. We got a chance to go to Scotland before, which was very nice.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
I want to thank you. Thank you for your service, by the way. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So you talk about finding Pretty Paul Roma, the legendary Mario Mancini up here in East Haven, Connecticut, moving up to
Star Maker indeed. Yes, sir.
Exactly. I'm still confused as to why people move to Connecticut. I think it's awful. I've lived here my entire life. I'm trying to get out of it, but I have too many great friends, such as you guys here. But
Yes,
you
sir.
know, what was your initial reaction to Mr. Mancini and Mr. Paul Roma? Were you familiar with them at all going into it?
Yes, sir. Remember again watching growing up and things like that. Saw them on television. So I thought it was really neat to get to meet them. And I remember my first first contact with Mr. Roma and talking through. He said, "Okay, have you trained at all? A little bit about my background, age, and things like that." And he said, "Okay, well, come on out. We'll see what you got, and then we'll go from there. As far as where to go forward with training, etc."
Right.
How
And
do
so
you
I did,
feel?
and here we are. It's been about I started training there April, April of
Of last year.
2023. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Would
Do you
you
have a question,
say that
Otis?
there's a big difference in the independent scene down in Florida as opposed to here on the East Coast up here?
Yes, sir. I would say that it's in that area that I was, it was a little smaller. You have some larger promotions down the Orlando area, some in Tampa. I didn't really have experience with that. However, it is a little bit of a different style in the sense of, the Southern base, and it's more, a little more mat based and chain, as opposed to more spots and, things like that. So a
More
little slower
traditional style.
style, a little
Yeah.
slower style. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What
What
do
did you
call it,
watch?
wrestling?
Wrestling? Yes, sir.
What did you watch for wrestling growing up? What exactly made you interested? Favorites? Were what was your favorite organization growing up?
I was one of those kids that, Monday nights you swap between, WCW and WWF at the time, now WWE. Watch that. I watched a little bit of the ECW and things like that. I still remember I was talking to Mr. Roma about this last week. I still remember there was a guy, it was an independent organization in Brooksville, Florida, and his name was Bulldozer Benton. And he had a beautiful mullet and a denim vest, and people went crazy for this guy. And I still remember that. Some of the independents that I did see, and seeing it in person like that was one of those things that I'd like to do that. But to go back to answer your original question, I apologize. WCW and WWF primarily.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you say influenced you to just be like, that is what I want to do? Any particular stars? Like, I always find that interesting because it's always a mixed bag. No matter who I interview, there's always something interesting.
Yes, sir.
That people
I
come
would
up with.
say my top five would be Arn Anderson, big Arn Anderson guy, Raven, Bret Hart, Rhino, and Perry Saturn. Really, I feel Perry Saturn is very, very underrated with everything that he
Yes.
did in the ring, in his hybrid blend of styles, and also, I mean, the guy's a legitimate Army Ranger.
Mhm.
So high flying. He had power stuff. He incorporated martial arts, submissions. So
I
I
thought
try to.
it was fantastic until the WWE did this moppy thing and all. That was just,
Yes,
with the
sir.
him talking to the mop and I just thought it was just ridiculousness.
What was
And
incredible is even with that, he was still able to kind of make it work, which was
well, it
impressive.
was funny, but it just to me, it just seemed like they're really wasting this guy's true potential or talent that he's already shown
Mhm.
in the past. But I guess that's what we had to deal with during the 90s, early 90s or late 80s or whenever it was that they did during that attitude era and all of that. But yeah, but it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Otis, do you have any other questions right now?
No, I just had some things that I was going over. I was remembering when I first met Sylvan and a couple of the matches that as of late, like I'm really interested in this little feud he's got going on with Mr. Fraust, which has been going back and forth as of late. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to say, I look at you, Sylvan, as a kind of a grounded wrestler, like you really know how to work the mat. but I did see this. Now, who is that Sylvan?
That's well, just with the caption I included on there, it said, I got to keep my opponents guessing, so I had to pull something new out of the bag of tricks.
I think you
And
had
so
everybody.
I think the constant evolution, and so just like with any athletic endeavor, you can't let your opponent get the upper hand, so you kind of telegraph what you're going to do before you do it, so they see it coming. So I thought that would be a little something different.
Is there any particular style that you like to kind of where you're most comfortable with, not just yourself, but like your opponents, who you feel more comfortable, not who, but what style you feel more comfortable with? Because you're a very confident wrestler. We could see that.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed watching you. And as a matter of fact, the professor and I last night were talking about you, how you get better every time we see you wrestle. You're getting better and better. So your training and your knowledge of wrestling and everything is starting to really shine through.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
To answer your question, I try and make it so it doesn't really matter. Like I could never see myself going into a match and like, oh, I got to work this person or whatever. As professionals, you should be able to work with anybody, and I look at that too as a testament to some of those previous names that I mentioned, the Arn Andersons, the Bret Harts of the world, that it didn't matter if it was someone bigger, smaller than them, same size, to really be able to match up well and then tailor it to make sure that the people definitely get their money's worth. So they go home and they look at each other and give that nod of like, hey, that was a good time. Let's do that again. Let's look at the schedule. Let's see the next show coming up for whatever promotion.
Yeah. Fun fact: Arn Anderson is my favorite wrestler of all time. So
outstanding. I saw you give the thumbs up when I mentioned Arn.
I think it was 1987. Him and Tully, the reign of terror in the NWA. I literally somehow I was like, God damn, that dude is awesome. And it just kind of took off from there. And, in 1995, when he was forced to retire, kind of a little bit of sadness, comes with when your favorite wrestler retires. The same thing happened when Flair wrestled. He's the greatest of all time, but he was not my favorite wrestler. But he is, you can't deny him being the greatest of all time, no matter if he's your favorite or not. But Arn, I thought when they teamed up, I always looked forward to seeing Arn in that matchup. You know what I mean? Because that was just anytime he got in the ring, he was able to work with anybody, and he was able to put on a fantastic matchup.
Knew it was going to be a fight. Going in there.
And he had the best spine buster. We'll just say that. All right.
No
matter who's going to argue with it, whether it was Ron Simmons or him, it was Arn Anderson. I'm just going to say.
Sir. Agreed.
You're wrong if it's anybody else. Tell me about working with somebody like Ryan Fraust. Ryan's been around for a number of years now. He's a great guy. He's become probably one of the most popular wrestlers in our area. And, he's just great. And you guys have had a couple battles now. And I snapped a few pictures of one of your matchups. I think it was a month ago, whatever. And no offense to you, but he was throwing you around like a sack of potatoes. And it seemed
he's a big boy.
He's
a big boy, yes, sir.
So what's it like working with somebody like Ryan?
Ryan is, as you said, he's great people. He's good people. He's a consummate professional. I always enjoy talking with him. If we're working together or not.
Right.
Very easy, practically like a night off, really. It's one of those things to make sense of everything, and you don't have to do a 720 off a ladder to make people care.
Right.
And I feel that we've always been able to do that.
Yeah, I was a little blown away by when you were in the gauntlet match back February 24th. And it was you, and it was a Buzz Bloodsaw, and Ryan. It was Fly Nine Noriega. There was
Chad Casanova. Yeah, he was out of Maine, yes, sir.
Yeah, and it seemed for a while like you and Frosty were kind of working together, and then you turned your back, and Frosty was Frosty, and that kendo came a swinging, and he kind of blindsided you there, and that kind of set the tone for, uh, I guess, what it maybe is still to come. Who knows?
And you change chapters, but I don't know if that book's necessarily finished. We had something going that it was going to come down to us, but he kind of had me do a little bit of his dirty work for him to soften up Mr. Buzz Bloodsaw. Another tremendous wrestler out of New England here. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
However, Mr. Bloodsaw still retained the belt. He's the AIWF International Champion. So, despite Frost's efforts, here we are.
Yeah.
He's Bloodsaw is he goes out there, he could put on a very fluid match, just something, he just flows very nicely, and he gets the crowd basically very, very excited. He interacts with the crowd quite a bit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me about the gimmick. Oh, sorry to call it a gimmick, but how did you come up with this Forest of the Lost and such?
Yes, sir. So as Mr. Scott Hall said it the best, the best characters are yourself. You just ratchet it up. And really a lot of the things I talk about in my vignettes and promos and things like that, the faceless people hiding behind these masks and things like that. People are very afraid, and they're concerned so much about what other people think of them,
right,
that they're nervous and apprehensive to really just be themselves. And so in the positive light, to really shed upon that, just be you. You know what I mean? Because there's no one else you can be better at than yourself. So why would you not? If people like it or not, that's their problem. As long as that you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, you know what, I did all right. What else do you have to worry about? I look at a lot of things. Yes, sir.
I was just going to say that makes a lot of sense because, like after the shows, when you're mingling with fans and doing, pictures and autographs and stuff, talking to you, when I get to sit with you for a minute or two in your busy schedule, I notice that you're very much who you are. When you're in the ring, you bring on the punch, you bring on the fight, but you're you, and that's what's really cool. And it's nice to be able to talk to Sylvan, the person, and the wrestler, but like at the same time,
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Yep.
And that's to really just to make that connection, because ultimately that's what it's about. And again, Arn Anderson, Bret Hart, all of those people, they had that connection to make you believe. And perfect example too, Tully Blanchard, right? He's like, everyone knows the jerk jock football player from high school, and you can't stand him because he thinks he's better than everybody else. Tully Blanchard brought that to us as fans. Oh, I hate that guy. He's so arrogant. He's so cocky. Trying to get people to look at a person in the ring and go, you know what? I know a guy like that, or I know a woman like that. I work with someone like that, or even in movies. I hated that character. You know what? This person's kind of like them. I don't like them either. To get that investment, that connection and investment, I think is the ultimate goal. Really.
Yeah. Let's see. You've had the opportunity recently where I shouldn't say opportunity, but you are the 2024 King of Paradise. This has not been something that's been in existence for I think it was 2 years was the last tournament that happened. Now this tournament was a little bit different because it was I think what was it, a couple quarterfinal matches which led to the semifinals, and then there was a fatal four-way to crown the champion. And I'm not going to lie, I think I told you this in conversation post-match that I popped because I did not expect that to happen. It was a complete surprise. I literally jumped out of my seat and I was like, I said, holy shit. And I could not believe it. And, and that doesn't happen very often. I've been around for quite some time, and especially being involved in the business as like a media personality, I guess you could say. It doesn't happen often anymore, but that I was very happy for you and very,
Thank
you know,
you.
just surprised. So, tell me what it's like winning such a prestigious tournament in the company that you come from.
Well, bring this over here. So, very, I'd be lying if I'd said that it's hit yet, because I'm still kind of like riding that wave. The belief that the management has in me, that the other professionals have in me, that the gentlemen like yourselves have in me. It really truly means the world. Because again, and working back towards the gimmick and relating with people, I'm one of those people. It's very difficult to give myself credit for things. Being a perfectionist with an inferiority complex is really a tough existence at times.
Yep.
But it means the world. It means the world. My family was there, and I didn't tell them anything, so they popped just as hard as you did, because they had no idea.
That's awesome.
They had no idea. So yeah, just very humbling, and I'm very, very thankful and just excited, what's next on the horizon.
Right.
Well, congratulations on that, definitely.
So have you reached out or traveled outside of Paradise Alley? I know I saw you, I worked an event with you actually, the USWF. I think that was, well, that was the first show, so it was both our first appearance there. I got the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the. How do you remember all these dates? Jesus, I I'm not
I'm
very
not.
good at remembering dates.
Yeah, I think
So
he's telling her to keep it quiet.
so what was your experience? How do you feel about that working outside of Paradise Alley? I don't think I've seen you outside of Paradise Alley besides that. I don't know if have you stepped outside of the Paradise Alley besides that as of
So
yet?
that was the first time. That was the first time. First show outside of PAPW, and
Mhm.
the promoter of that, Mr. Broadway Joe Malcolm,
Yep.
approached me and asked, me to be on the show, and I said great. Ended up working a solid match with Kevin Kidd, who
Kid.
I'm familiar with. Kevin, another good talent, great guy. Um, so now I'm at a point too. My first match was last June, debuting at Armada Brewery, which June 1st, there's actually another show coming up there. Be back at Armada on June 1st. Unfortunately, I'll still be celebrating my coronation as king, so I won't be there. But I will be the following, let me see here, July 13th. I'll be appearing at Armada Brewery. So also I've got June 8th, I'll be in Torrington, making my debut at Tough and Talented Wrestling
Yep.
under Mr. Vince out there. So very excited for that. Again, he reached out to me via social media and said I'd be interested in having you on the show. Appreciate the opportunity. Outstanding. I'll be there. So that'll be bell time over there of 7 o'clock.
You're going
in
to be taking
Torrington.
on Clutch Williams, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep, Clutch Williams over there.
I'm not
He's
familiar
gonna
with
try and hit a home run, but I'm gonna strike him out. So we'll see how that turns out. Mhm.
Good baseball reference there. All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm not too familiar with him either. We follow each other on social media. I'm interested in seeing him at some point. I'm not going to be. That's June 8th. You said correct?
Yes, sir. That's June 8th in Torrington, and then I've got the TF crew. It's a Death Row show. That's
June
June
15th.
15th at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That'll be at the PAPW facility.
Correct.
So I am going to be involved with the TF crew, or it sounds like I am. I haven't revealed it as of yet. I
Excellent.
will not be in attendance because I will be working another event out of state. However, I am in talks with the promoter and about doing overdubs for the commentary. So
Excellent.
we'll see about that, how it works. I've never been interested in that style by any means. I feel like it's kind of crazy, personal opinion. I'm more of a traditional fan. I'm kind of old, I guess you could say. So, what are your thoughts
Mine will
on that?
not be of the deathmatch variety.
Okay. Well, I think I spoke with.
I call it a traditional style match.
I think I spoke with Compass as well, and he said that he has no problem working like a hardcore style match, but he's not doing a death match style match. Because I mean, I saw him in Holyoke, Massachusetts, work a match that kind of went a little off the rails with weapons and such, and I saw him during intermission, and he looked like his face just he ran through a cheese grater or what have you. And yeah, he. So I don't know what your opinions. What's your? Do you know your opponent for that night?
For that one, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I know, you know, in 2TW, Torrington there, Clutch Williams. I know he's a product of the 3D Academy. He made his debut in February. Excuse me. However, for that June 15th TF Crew show, I'm not sure yet, so it'll be a surprise.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So,
sir.
like I said, I'm trying to. I want to do something a little bit different as far as announcing and stuff like that. I've never done anything deathmatchy, or I mean, I guess I've done some hardcore stuff, but this the deathmatch stuff to me gets a little extreme. But you know, I guess I'm gonna have to take a gig where I can get it, or whatnot. You know what I mean? Try to expand my palette, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And, you know, always have the power to say, no, thanks.
Yes, exactly. Well, I've walked out of a company recently. I'm not going to talk about that, and that's a whole nother dispute. However,
gotcha. Sorry to hear that.
June 8th, yeah, we'll talk off air.
Yes, sir.
June 8th, however, I'll be working Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Coliseum Pro Wrestling is West Haven, Connecticut. So unfortunately, I won't be able to be at the 2TW. I was at the final event that they ran before they took a break. So, you know, I'm excited to see that they're back together, and they've got a lot of it seems like they got all their shows booked up for the whole year. They have a lot of great talent announced already so far.
Very good. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Paradise Alley. So pro wrestling. So you train there. We talked about Mario. We talked about Roma. Is there any other students there that you could see coming out and shining? Brightly?
Oh my goodness. So there's been a number of you know, young men, and there's a young lady who recently made their debut at Armada there last month. You have Jada. You have Mr. Z. He came out, and so he's made a solid impact. Mirza, Mr. Jeremy LaCroix. So you know, people are shaking and moving things. We've got a number of other up and comers. We've got a number of new students who recently joined as well. Gentlemen we spoke about earlier. So I mean, things are looking great, you know, as always going forward, and just trying to help everyone get ready.
Didn't you face Mirza before the King of Paris back on what was it, Cinco de Mayo?
No, sir. That was so the original Cinco de Mayo got canceled due to rain. But there was a triple threat match. It was Mr. Z, Alan Compass, and Mirza, the Bosnian Bolt.
Okay.
So we were supposed to, but then it got rained out, unfortunately. You do have an incredible memory. Thank you for that.
Oh no, I just take a lot of notes.
So I got a chance to watch Mirza and Troy Stevens the night that you won the King of Paradise.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, those two kept everybody on the edge of their seat, literally, with that match. Was very fast, quick paced. I think that Mirza should have laid in the chops a little bit more, because Troy Stevens was laying into him, and you heard the chops bouncing off the walls. It was quite incredible. I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch from your position in backstage, but it was a fantastic matchup, and I'd like to see it again.
Yes, sir. I definitely heard it from backstage.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of Mirza. But
yeah.
But I did watch it on YouTube and some videos that were out there, and it was great. It was great. You know, we're very much of a family at Paradise Alley, and support each other and just try and build each other up. And it was phenomenal to see the progress that Mirza's made, and how much hard work he's putting in, and everyone who's made their debut and worked up to this point, and they continue to grow and do so, you know, especially with the character development and things. I mean, how could you not like that kid? He comes out with a, you know, 1985 Peter Brady hair and smiles, and you go, yeah, you know,
super nice kid.
Very,
I was
very,
going to say,
yeah.
try when I had popped in over at the training center and did a few promo shots here and there. Yeah, trying to get him to relax and just do this or do that, and he was like, he always this grin on his face. I'm like, this is one happy guy.
Yep.
But he
Yep.
was fun to work with.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that's definitely wise and mature beyond his years. Kid's only 18 years old. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, so
No.
so it was okay for Troy to lay in on him the way he did. He's legal. But
I think it's going to be, if he had a match that good this early on, then I think I could only imagine what he's going to be having down the road. You know what I mean?
yes, sir.
He's just going to get better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about Mr. Jeremy Lacroix. Like he's quite the interesting fellow, if you will.
He is,
debut,
Mr. Jeremy's got a background in amateur wrestling, so he's got that going for him. He tried to push the envelope there with Mr. Roma. Sarge was standing there, in case Paul went after him to protect Jeremy. But no, I mean he's come along great. He's come along great, and learning as we go, and he listens. So a very diverse group of up and comers as well.
Right.
Which is great. So I mean, not like I said, nothing but positive horizons. For the future of PAPW and the present.
Right. Yeah. I first had the opportunity to meet you. I believe it was at a BCW event, Bay State Championship Wrestling. I think
yes,
that
sir.
You were there
and,
just
Mr.
Kevin
Sylvan. Yep.
Yeah. You were not on the show, but I don't know. I think you came out to, scout, watch, be a part, maybe if you could.
So I came out to support a couple of the other guys who were working the shows, and one of the other guys, I said, "Hey man, like, do you have merch?" And I sat at the table and was able to sell a couple things for him. So just to support the brothers.
Yeah, that's good. Is that somewhere where you think that you might be looking to work at some point in the future?
It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. I'm at a point now where I feel very comfortable with who I am, when I'm in there and out there. Say if I had a show tomorrow, I wouldn't be worried or nervous. I'd be like, okay, like here's some ideas, here's some things. Go out there and do what I do, without concern. So I'm very confident in my abilities and skill and working with other people, that now I really do want to get out and about and reach out, really promote myself more. And I'm thankful for all the support that I have for that.
Right. Who did you debut against? Did we talk about that? I don't recall. If
Sunset Steve Garcia. It was at Armada
Steve.
Brewing last June. Last June. He was my first match ever. And then and so actually my first and third matches were against Sunset.
How did you feel about going out there in front of a group of people? I know I've been asked to do stuff in front of groups of people. I'm nervous wreck, so I can't. Yo, do you want to ring announce? I said no. I'll sit in the booth, but I'm not ring announcing. So, how did you feel? How were your nerves? And what was it like working with Sunset Steve? I think Steve's come a long way. He's always improving. You know what I mean? So he's former PAPW Alley Fights champion when that title was a thing, and which it's no longer. So what was it like working with Steve, and like I said, how did you react to just going out there in front of a group of people at first?
No, that's an excellent question, sir. Thank you. I ever since I was a kid, so I'm an only child. So I've always had the gift of gab, and I'm social butterfly. I have no problem public speaking. So it was one of those things of like, that'll be okay. But to go out and make sure that, most importantly, I keep him safe and I stay safe, and we go about things the way we're supposed to. So a little bit of the jitters there and talking through things. But when my music hit and I walked out, it was like, okay, here we go. Just kind of flip that switch and, let's go with it. So we went through and even the first match, and he complimented me. I still remember. He said, "Hey man, I didn't have to tell you to like talk to the crowd to get them involved, and just did it to work the character and things like that. So very thankful. I'll remember that night for the rest of my life for sure. So I'm very
And
thankful,
Sunset,
Sunset Steve Garcia.
yeah, he's an amazing wrestler too. He really is. I'm sorry that I didn't see that match.
That was.
I have yet to. I have yet to make it down to the Armada Brewing. I'm hoping to make it June 1st. It's my son's prom night, so I have to, we're doing a whole send off here. So I'm hoping, uh, after he leaves, that I'm able to run down there as quick as possible. You're not going to be there after, so you just saw that.
No, sir.
And
no, unfortunately, I missed that one.
So I'm actually hoping to view that. I have yet to be at the Armada Brewing, and it's something that I feel bad because there was at one point I was going to every single PAPW show for years, and life got busy, work got busy, and then COVID happened, all that, and then it's been rough, and then wrestling takes up a lot of my time, and I'm sure as it does with you as well. I also operate this show and a podcast and stuff like that, so.
We're very thankful for you. Thankful for both of you, gentlemen.
Well,
appreciate it.
I appreciate that, and it's something that I've dedicated myself to because it's like I've loved wrestling since I was a kid. 1984, I discovered it, and I've been obsessed for the last 40 years. So there you go. So
awesome.
I forgot where I was going. I had a whole conversation planned, or a whole
talking about you're going to go to the Armada show. The Armada show out there.
And and I wish I can. It's just, and then I started to get more involved in my commentary roles. I'm very thankful to guys like Nick and Hakim and, Paradise Alley for giving me the opportunity, really. Guys like Mario and Roma for giving me the opportunity to help out there and stuff like that. So that's where I got my beginnings, I guess you could say. And then, it's been a lot of fun doing stuff from my angle. Otis, what do you got?
No, I too am hoping I could get to the June 1st show at Armada, weather depending. And I do know that, the June 15th show will be out of state, like you were saying. So we're going to miss that show that Sylvan's going to be at, that Death Row. But, maybe we can definitely catch the next one if there's, if they do another one there soon, maybe.
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Armada Brewery is going to be July 13th. It'll be the next Armada show.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Good. Yep. Yeah. I think they announced the whole summer worth of dates, or they mentioned them. I don't remember if they announced them. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to go. Jesus, I had a whole question. Either way, so we're talking about being comfortable in front of groups and stuff like that. So, and how, my other question is, how did you choose your music, and were you comfortable with that? Have you changed it at all, your entrance music, and what is it?
So it's I came across it looking through things on YouTube, and it's a gentleman by the name of Jacob Lizotte, Lizotte, and he's a musician that makes a ton of different things. A variety. Usually it's more rock, metal, things like that, but he has some other that are a little more mellow. And I found that it really clicked. There was down to like 2 or 3 songs, and I asked the family, and I listened. I was like, which one should I go with? I decided on that one. I haven't changed it since. Although I think it's a commonality amongst most wrestlers of like, what should I change? Do I need to change? Do I need new music? Do I need to do this? So I look at things, but I like it now, and it's at a point that when the music hits, people react because they know who it's, who's coming out,
right?
Which again is very humbling. It's very humbling that people recognize who the heck I am.
Right.
So, but yeah, so I just came across that, and I like it. I like it.
Now I actually remember what the hell I was going to say before, but how does your family react to you becoming a professional wrestler and it taking so much of your time? Like I said, professional wrestling it's not something you can do here and then wait a few weeks to do. It literally takes up a good portion of your schedule, especially if you want to be successful at it. Obviously, you go down to train several times a week, and then by the weekends, you probably do maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3 shows on a weekend, etc., depending on your level. But how's your family in React? Do they travel with you? I know I met your family at the last show. I think that was the first time I'd ever actually met them before, though.
Yes, sir. They've gone to all of the PAPW shows I've been on. They weren't able to go to the USWF show, but yeah, they've gone to all the PAPW. So they've been there, and wife is there with the camera and everything, and kids try and kind of maintain kayfabe, so they're not like, "Hey, Dad," right? But they like it. They like the character. They like everything. They enjoy it. My parents, they're down in Florida, and whenever they see things online and stuff, they always ask, "That hurt? You okay?" I'm like, "Listen, I'm fine." Like, we're professionals, so we're okay. But they're very supportive. Say again?
I said, it hurts, but I'll make it.
Yeah, been through worse, so I'll be okay. I don't break easy, thankfully. No, they've been very, very supportive, and also, being a former military family, to deal with, daddy being away for a little bit and things like that. They've been super supportive in everything I've ever done with weight training and that. I've done bodybuilding in the past, things like that, which also takes up a lot of time. And, like I mentioned, East Haven's about an hour away from where we live. So, it's a 2-hour round trip drive just to go to training, which I'll go to, a couple or a few times a week. But they, very, very supportive. I'm blessed and very thankful for them.
With expensive as gas is these days, that's just insane.
It's rough. It's rough, but it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it to go and better myself, and then also try and help better, the next group of my younger brothers and sisters coming through.
Right. Professional wrestling is something very special, so I get it. You know what I mean? It is. It's a very special thing. It's not for everybody, but the people that are involved in it, it takes a certain someone, whether it be at my level or your level or whatnot. It's just it's an amazing thing, and it brings people together. You know what I mean? That
Yes,
certain
sir.
people together that if you fall in love with professional wrestling, you're done for life. You are in love with professional wrestling.
There's no escaping it.
Exactly.
And how many times have you heard, oh, I haven't watched for such and such amount of time, and then it's on TV and they start watching and go, oh, well, and if nothing else, maybe they don't watch the current product, but they get nostalgic, especially in this day and age. Let me go to, Peacock or whatever and watch some NWA from like 1985.
That's a
watch
guy
some
that
old
writes,
Arn Anderson.
there's a guy that writes for the website, Anthony, who he does not watch the current product, but he'll write articles of vintage professional wrestlers or incidents and what have you, and all he does is like, I don't think he's watched something since like he just watches like 80s and 90s stuff, and just that's it. He goes back, which I understand. So, and he provides some really good content for our website. So, some of the most popular articles on our website, they've been republished in a couple magazines as well. So,
Excellent! Congratulations to him as well as yourself for having him on the team.
Yeah, awesome. It's been pretty incredible to have that. He wrote an article on Paul Heyman a couple months ago, and it got reprinted about his earliest days. So that was it was kind of fun to get that. Yeah,
the cell phone and all, right?
Yeah, right. Yes, a gigantic cell phone.
The brick.
Because that's the Zach Morris phone that they call it from Saved by the Bell. You know that.
Absolutely, yeah. He was the coolest kid.
Yeah, wrestling fans. It's funny because I mean, people that like wrestling, either you love it or you hate it. There's really no gray,
Right.
People that love wrestling, and people that don't like it, they just don't want to be bothered. It's cut and dry when it comes to wrestling fans, I find.
Yes, sir. I consider it. It's like black licorice. People either love it or hate it. Like there's no like in between. Or candy corn. It's like,
I love black licorice. All right.
Same.
I love black licorice.
Same here. Yes, sir.
Somebody's gotta.
Well, the funny part about it is I'll buy it. Like maybe I'm at work. I'm like, hey, you want some, to my coworker? And the look of disgust on their face.
What's
like,
wrong
all right,
with
whatever.
you?
More for me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
sir.
it. All right, Otis. Before we wrap up, do you have anything else that you want to talk
I
about?
kind of wanted to, as you can see, I've got a picture up here of, not, well, I don't know how well you can see it, but I wanted to ask you, Sylvan, about your merchandise. You have some merchandise that's a little different than some of the other guys and gals. You do have your T-shirts, which are outstanding designs, by the way. I love the designs on them.
We got one here.
Yes, yes, I love it. I
There
love
you go.
um the masks, this card here that you gifted me. Thank you very much. You gifted me this card a while back,
Yes, sir.
and I love the design. Who does the merch for it? Not makes it, but who designs it? Do you sit with your family and you all brainstorm, or is it just ideas that pop in your head?
So there's a couple things. So that card design, this one
Yes.
here that you have there, it's actually the same as the shirt. So there's a website called Fiverr, Fiverr, and there's a lot of different creators. I mean, you can find anyone from music artists to people making pottery, and anywhere in between. And so there were a couple artists, one gentleman who did this design.
Another great T-shirt.
Excellent.
Very unique. Yeah, it's very unique. The designs you have. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And he was a tattoo artist from France, and we kind of brainstormed and talked a little bit about things, and he gave us a rough design, and he went on with it, and it was great. And ironically, there was a female artist also from France that we found on Fiverr that does a lot of Viking and Nordic type of artistry. So, and that's where we came up with the one on the green shirt there, as well as that card. There's a couple things too I brought just to show.
Yes,
Let's
please.
see here, like this here. So like I painted that. So just
Mhm.
ideas, so someone can wear it and they can look like me. It's like wearing a Sting mask.
I think it's awesome.
So plain white mask, and I cut off the half and scuffed it up for the paint to stick better, painted it
Was
black
that
and the green over top.
Was that
sir?
your idea?
Yes, sir.
Like,
Yep.
okay.
So I've got
Did
some
your
just
family ever give you any input in that kind of stuff?
They do. As far as different taglines or promo ideas, whenever we film, with the exception of the one at PAPW, which Mr. Smith there, Uncle Otis, helped me out and filmed for the King of Paradise promos beforehand. My wife does all the filming. My wife does the filming. We kind of make it a family affair. So my wife is deaf. So yes, I know American Sign Language. And my daughter's hard of hearing. And yes, sir. And my son, I say he has hearing like a dog to make up for it. So he has incredible hearing. But Alex, my son, will put the closed captions on. So we include that. And that's the thing too, because I know a lot of people don't really do that either. So if someone, either they're hard of hearing, they're deaf, or whatever the case is, maybe they didn't hear a word that I said. They're like, oh, what did he really say? What does that mean?
Right.
So it's something different. It's more inclusive to everybody. So we kind of make it a family affair.
Yeah, I end up reading the captions when I watch your promos often.
Excellent.
And well, Rick will say that I'm a little hard of hearing, but that maybe it's just selective. He's talking to me. I don't. Love you, buddy.
Yeah. I'm just wait until we get we'll just wait. If we're on a road trip together, I'm gonna bust your balls big time. So
like you don't now.
Naturally. Yeah, well, why wait till the road trip, right?
Yeah, right. Well, we had it with Mr. Matt the Court yesterday up to Springfield, and it a lot of times and sometimes it's this guy and maybe Harry just busting chops on me. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Harry Davila from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He like him and Matt the Court likes to rag on me quite a bit. It's all in good fun, but it's, I guess it's part of wrestling, right? So
we have
if they're not busted on you, it means they don't like you, right?
Yeah. There you go. So, what else you got, Sylvan? Do you have anything else going on?
I've got, like I talked about those shows there. Get the YouTube page. I'm gonna have all my matches on there, so I'll be sharing that and posting that. Instagram, Forest of the Lost, Facebook, Sylvan. I am Sylvan. That's on there. I'm just very thankful for everything. I appreciate the opportunity and you inviting me to do this, gentlemen. I appreciate you.
Could you maybe
Absolutely,
one
man.
more time before Rick closes things out? Maybe give us all those dates and where you're going to be one more time for the fans.
Yes, sir. I will not be there, but June 1st, Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling will be at Armada Brewing Company, and that's in New Haven. Very nice place there. And the owner, John, is a great guy. You know, he enjoys us being there, and we love being there. Good relationship. June 8th in Torrington, that'll be the Tough and Talented Wrestling. That's June 8th. Bell time of 7 o'clock on that one. June 15th will be TF Crew Death Row. 3 p.m. That'll be at the Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling training facility there in East Haven, 662 Co Avenue. And then Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling will be back at Armada on July 13th. And then if anything changes between now and those dates, I'll be sure to update it, post it, and share with everybody, get the word out.
You said you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, so you update your posts. They can always go to either of those and check out what it is that you've got going on, and you'll keep people freshly updated, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. I want to thank you for joining us today. I had a blast talking to you. And of course, I'm going to have to, at some point, you're going to come back. And I'm going to.
Excellent.
If you
I
say
love
no.
that.
So either way.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. I want to thank you, everybody. I want you to go to social media, Instagram, Facebook, and such, and go follow him. And this is gonna be up on the website shortly. So thank you very much, everybody.